Ime Udoka may never coach for the Celtics again after having a consensual relationship. Now, I think he should have been suspended, but whatever you think, there are two sides of this story. The woman involved has not been named, and several ESPN employees have a problem with that.
He gets to get mentioned and put on Front Street. We don't know who she is. What about the other women within the Celtics organization who have been victimized because wrong assumptions have been made by their involvement?
That's what Brad Stevens just said to the media. He got emotional saying how much pain this has caused for Celtic female employees. But another ESPN employee had a huge issue with Stephen A. Malika Andrews was so mad that Stephen A brought up the other woman, she called in to blast him.
This is not about pointing the finger. Stop. We are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
Okay, first of all, she's talking to Stephen A like she's his mom. Secondly, we are not here to further blame women. It was consensual. That's what the Celtics said. Now, messed up things might have happened after that, but we don't know about any of that yet. But even if you agree that a boss cheating with a subordinate is never consensual, the way Malika talks to Stephen A is gross. She's on her high horse lecturing Stephen A like he's an evil victim blamer for just talking about the facts. And I actually think Malika has a point. It sucks that Ime is being dragged through the mud here, but that's the nature of being a head coach. It's a public job. People would notice if he's just not on the sideline. They have to say something. But does that mean you put the woman on blast too? No, that's like making a bad decision even worse. I think the Celtics did the best they could with a horrible situation, but the way she belittles Stephen A is horrible, which is why I'm glad he clapped back.
Let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you. You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening.
Yes, that is why I love Stephen A. Smith. But it didn't go like that on Malika's show. Kendrick Perkins said basically the exact same thing that Stephen A. did, and Malika basically kicked him off the air.
It was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook?
Well,
that's the problem that I have right now. Everybody got to be held accountable.
I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was an investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here, and to speculate on that, because what we have to...
Well, I'm not speculating. Sure. I have the information. I'm not speculating.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, because when Malika says, well, the woman might be a real victim, Perk says, no, she is at fault too. Trust me. Because Perk has deep contacts in Boston. He knows what happened. Malika knows what she's been told. But watch what she does next.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that an independent law firm came in, did this investigation. We have to come to the conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side. I thank you for your perspective.
She just ends the segment, doesn't even give Perk a chance to defend himself. And go back to like the last 3 seconds of that clip. You can see Perk realizes, what, she's kicking me off? And he starts to be like, but Malika, but she just turns around and ignores him. That is so disrespectful, and she doesn't even know what happened. All she knows is what she was told by the Celtics, so she feels like she's got the moral high ground to talk to Stephen A like he's a child and to just kick Perk off the air. What are these debate shows even for? Debate! They should have different perspectives, but she doesn't even want to discuss it. She want to hear the other perspective. She feels like it's so immoral it shouldn't even be talked about. What, does she work for the Celtics? No, it's that kind of attitude that isolates people who have questions. She feels like she has the moral answer so she can treat the other side like they're little kids. And I'm probably coming at this from a different angle than other people will, because I actually see Malika's point. We have been told that part of this was not consensual, so there might actually be a victim here. And on top of that, Ime was named because he is a head coach. The woman shouldn't be held to that standard. I agree with all of that. But the way Malika acts like she's right and they're wrong just isolates people and make them never want to hear her side. To fight bad ideas, you have to explain good ideas in a smart way. You don't just shut down the other side. Perk and Stephen A still think what they think. She's not getting rid of the problem. And what's even worse is this is happening on ESPN. Shocker. They have a history of making certain opinions off limits. They never mention that LeBron sucks up to China while talking about social justice. They allow their anchors to talk about their opinion on abortions.
Can you confidently state to the women in your lives that you've used your power and privilege as men for their betterment? That you've done all you can to ensure that at the very least, they'll have the same rights afforded to decades of women before them?
Like, what is this even sports at this point? Like, an on-air person told all girl dads to speak up. And I actually agree with L. Duncan on this, but do you think for a second she could say the other side of that opinion? No way, she would be fired immediately. So I think Malika went on air and felt empowered to act like that because of that culture. But the bigger deal is, what about the people watching at home? A lot of them agree with Stephen A. If it was consensual, this is ridiculous. I'll never understand why a consensual relationship by two adults is news. She could have had a smart, respectful conversation with Stephen A and Kendrick Perkins, laid out her case so that they could understand it, and therefore the people at home. They would have all felt respected, like also their opinion was heard by Malika, but instead she treats those guys on air like little children and shuts it down so the people at home feel the exact same way, and they all just keep the same opinion and probably hate Malika Andrews and whoever this woman is in the process. But can we please just talk about basketball? I honestly don't like making videos like this, but when I saw this thing from Malika, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I actually kind of agree with her, but the way she goes about it is awful. So let's just talk about basketball, please, because the season is right around the corner. And when you look at the East standings right now, and you look at all the good teams in the East, you notice it is deep, but two of the good teams are going to miss the playoffs. So I made kind of an East predictions video saying which two good teams are not gonna make it. Check it out.